The Nobel Peace Prize has always been more than just an award. Since its institution in 1901, it has represented an acknowledgement of global leadership, moral courage, and a commitment to harmony among nations. Yet time and again, the prize has been entangled in politics, sometimes controversial, sometimes inspiring, but never ignored. In modern U.S. politics, few episodes highlight this tension more than Donald Trump's overt interest in receiving the Nobel Peace Prize during his presidency, 2017-2021. His eagerness was often contrasted with his predecessor, Barack Obama, who won the award in 2009 under circumstances that were both celebrated and criticized. From the outset of his political career, Trump styled himself as an outsider to American politics, a leader who was going to disrupt the status quo with aggressive deal-making skills, rather than intellectual vision. For him, recognition, validation, and branding have always been central. He consistently measured success through public approval, media attention, and prestigious accolades. Winning the Nobel Peace Prize, in Trump's eyes, would have been the ultimate external validation of his claim that he was not just a divisive American president, but also a respected global statesman. In multiple interviews and rallies, Trump publicly expressed frustration that he was never given the award, despite accomplishments such as pressuring North Korea into diplomatic talks, brokering the Abraham Accords between Israel and certain Arab states, and maintaining a relatively stable U.S. foreign policy stance in certain conflicts. For Trump, the Nobel was not about the substance of peace as much as the symbolism. It was the shine of global recognition he sought, a way to cement his name in the same pantheon as iconic leaders like Nelson Mandela, Mikhail Gorbachev, and Martin Luther King Jr. The contrast between Trump's failed bid for recognition and Obama's Nobel Prize loomed large in this story. When Obama was awarded the Peace Prize in 2009, less than a year into his first term, many conservatives and even some international observers criticized the decision as premature. The Nobel Committee itself admitted that Obama had not yet accomplished tangible results, but rather embodied hope for multilateral diplomacy and a new direction after the Bush era. His award was thus symbolic, based largely on his rhetoric and vision, rather than achievements. Trump seized upon this apparent inconsistency to argue that Obama's Nobel was undeserved, while his own record deserved recognition. In his worldview, this fueled the notion of unfair treatment by the global establishment and liberal elites. The Nobel Peace Prize became not only a matter of vanity, but also a weapon in his ongoing rivalry with Obama's legacy. Where Obama was globally admired, Trump often faced criticism on issues like immigration policies, climate change denial, and abrasive diplomacy. The Nobel Peace Prize has always been political, sometimes controversially so. Awarding Obama in 2009 was controversial. Giving it to Henry Kissinger in 1973, amid the Vietnam War, provoked outcry. Sometimes the committee has opted for symbolic gestures, other times for recognition of specific treaties or breakthroughs. Had Trump received the Nobel Peace Prize, it would have been read primarily as a political signal, perhaps rewarding the Abraham Accords for reshaping Middle Eastern diplomacy. But the baggage of Trump's divisive politics, his domestic record of polarizing policies, and the constant erosion of diplomatic norms under his leadership would have made the award seem less about peace and more about validating personality politics. Why a Trump Nobel would damage the prize's prestige. If Trump had been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, it would have risked several negative consequences. Erosion of credibility. Critics already point out past missteps in Nobel history. A Trump win would have reinforced the notion that the committee is capricious, swayed by headlines rather than enduring achievements. Politicization of the prize. Because Trump was such a polarizing figure domestically and internationally, his winning would make the Nobel Prize seem subject to political theater rather than a nonpartisan acknowledgement of human progress. Devaluation of past laureates. Figures like Martin Luther King Jr. or Malala Yousafzai, who risked their lives for peace, are remembered as symbols of courage, equating their legacy with Trump's presidency, marked by aggression in rhetoric and divisive policies, would dilute the moral prestige of the prize. In a sense, Trump's obsession with the Nobel Peace Prize reflects the contradictions of both his presidency and the prize itself. Trump coveted recognition not for the essence of peace, but as a brand marker, a rival claim to Obama's legacy. The The Nobel Committee, meanwhile, has long struggled with balancing symbolism and substance. Ultimately, the Nobel Peace Prize remains a fragile institution. Each controversial decision reshapes its meaning, for better or worse. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Can't wait to see you in the next one.